We have a short agenda today. Maybe or we get into some discussions. Maybe so. Let's see. First, the usual update of the latest Siebel update that was just made available over the past few days. 22.6 is out and available for download. So are the release notes and bookshelf for your reading pleasure. And as usual, I have skimmed through the release notes and bookshelf, and in the release notes, there are no new features. So this is a no feature or bug fix only release. There is, however, a new addition to bookshelf, or a replacement rather. We have two new versions for the Apache software included with Siebel. Tomcat 9060 and ZooKeeper 3.8. ZooKeeper, yes, ZooKeeper gets updated when you update Siebel one more time. So we had that in, what was it, 21.4-ish? I can't recall exactly, but a while ago ZooKeeper was updated, and now we get another latest version. And there is something about the mouse wheel I want to tell you, but that's coming up. So yeah, ZooKeeper 3.8. So of course, I'm the kind of person that I am. I'm gonna dug into the release notes of ZooKeeper 3.8, and I found out it's actually quite recent. So it has been published in March. So Oracle has been very fast in adopting it and putting it into Siebel. I believe, personal opinion, that's related to security issues. Maybe Apache Log4j was still in ZooKeeper, albeit the Log4j 1 version, which was not too critical. But now the new ZooKeeper 3.8 uses logback for logging. And I'm working with Duncan Ford currently to figure out if you, for example, had some ZooKeeper logging in place. So maybe a bit of hands up here. Do you have some ZooKeeper logging deployed or monitoring of any kind? Prometheus, Grafana, or just log files? Anyone? Or do you just leave your ZooKeeper unattended? Somebody's typing. Christian says not in his project landscape. Okay, so ZooKeeper is just kept, unkept, and unkempt. Okay, so not too big an issue then, but if you have some Log4j-based logging, of course that stops working because you have to kind of migrate to logback. But that's the only real news I have. I've done 2 updates so far to 22.6 and can confirm there's a new ZooKeeper and it does its job. Then there's this new bookshelf guide. It's always exciting when there's a new bookshelf guide. This actually is an old guide that existed but was only available on Oracle support, and it's related to the container images that you can download from Oracle support via a limited availability release or request. It's called the ARU, or Automated Release Update. And maybe some of you have come across this over the past few years. It's in the release notes as a limited availability feature. And now the documentation has made it into the public bookshelf. So here's, for example, that's bookshelf 22.5. So you see a lengthy name here, and I'm switching to 22.6. And you see the new guide taking the place of the one with the lengthy name, which actually was a Oracle by example HTML document, which was for the old marketplace image, the cloud marketplace image that used Jenkins to build up an enterprise. That's no longer that that has left the scene with the log4j issues and has not been put back. So this guy takes the slot. That's interesting. And what's described in the guide is more or less for people who are really keen on using Oracle pre-built Docker containers. Now, is somebody here using this way of deploying Siebel? Using the Oracle pre-built containers? Stefan,
we do have everything on containers, but it was containers we built ourselves, not ones from Oracle.
Right. You rolled your own containers and
yeah. Well, we used Duncan scripts, which were very helpful. So that was pretty much what we needed. And then we have some other stuff like EDQ and some other integrations that we've added in there as well. But that was but yeah, we just used their scripts to build our own containers.
Okay, so that's good to hear that people are like adopting containerization concepts, and I've put together, because it's like a good time to talk about a little bit on container and cloud options that you currently have, or that I can see. Maybe there's more, or but so Nick, as Nick mentioned, you rolled your own Docker images using the Oracle Siebel GitHub example by Duncan, and which is a great way of learning how to containerize Siebel using Docker, and then of course operate it and run it. The ARU containers is like the second option you have. So you don't go all the length and create your own containers. You just use the pre-built containers and you deploy them with any type of these first two. You can deploy them anywhere using any container platform of your liking. So Kubernetes, OpenShift, Docker, Swarm. Then no longer we have the OCI marketplace image, which is retired. Last time we talked about Cloud Manager, so not going into detail here, but that's also a great way of, well, containerizing Siebel, but it's a different way, and it's currently only available if OCI is the cloud of your choice, and it establishes a Kubernetes cluster, GitOps-based infrastructure, which quite exciting. But there are videos, or watch the last Siebel Friday video from May, where we go into detail on that. And then you can engage Oracle ACS to use Cloud Lift services offering for, let's say, custom assisted migration by Oracle. And of course, that will be necessary for the very big deployments or very complex deployments. All right. So that's the usual cloud chatter we do every Siebel Friday, but I don't want to kind of dwell on it for too long. Anything you might want to add to these options? So definitely option 1 is used in the wild. SCM is quite new. Okay, then let's talk about the elephant in the room, or the mouse in the room, the rodent in the room. In 21.10, mouse wheel support was introduced for list applets. So when users used a mouse wheel with the cursor over an applet, suddenly started scrolling by record set, previous next record set. So that, of course, is a great addition. Not so great for some users, I noticed, because they don't like that. But that's the way it is. And I noticed when I updated to 22.6 that the scroll behavior went away. So despite me scrolling frantically with the mouse, the list applet didn't respond. So I was like, oh, it's broken. But it's actually not broken. I made, well, great efforts to dig out the lever or the key you have to press now while using mouse wheel. It's the shift key. and then it works again. Found no documentation on that, but I found evidence, so CSI style. So if in case you miss the mouse wheel support, then it's you have to hold the shift key. Or in case, or if you know how to modify OpenUI, you can, of course, establish any other way of supporting or not supporting mouse wheels. Yeah. Okay. Any opinions on that? On any comments on the mouse wheel?
Do you think they do? This is kind of maybe towards Gary. Do you think they would ever have an enhancement where the mouse wheel would go one record at a time?
It's possible. I think that would be a good idea, but that wouldn't be me. That would be Holger.
Okay, I'll put an enhancement in.
Yeah, one record at a time. Yeah.
Yeah, the control down arrow is 2 keys, and that's functional, but be nice. Maybe I just program my mouse to do control down arrow.
Yeah, or the keyboard shortcuts exist as well. It's Alt plus dot and Alt plus comma, I think, is going up and down, but it's very elusive to say the least. Yeah.
So I had a huge discussion in one project when they found this feature with the scroll, and it's a 50-50. Some like it very much, and the others say, no, I have other expectations. I want to scroll the whole screen and not in the list applet, because on top it's the form applet, and it depends where my cursor is and my focus.
Yeah. Suddenly people have to move.
Trick.
Yeah, people have to move the mouse cursor outside the list applet to scroll the view up and down. Yeah. I had that, and so yeah, it's the great mouse wheel debate, as I announced.
Yes.
The have or have not. Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little bit confusing for the customer.
Yes.
Too bad it can't be a personal option on their profile setup.
That's the best choice, maybe.
Yeah, we have been there in 21.10. Where I remember the discussion with Brian that we possibly put in a user preference in the behavior applet or wherever, enable mouse wheel or not with flag. So leave it to the user, or maybe have kind of a system preference to enable it in principle, and then
everybody then. I like the profile attribute. We could add that to the screen and then write code for it.
You can do that always. Yeah, of course. OpenUI is open for that as well. Yeah. And I recall writing up a chapter for the first OpenUI book back in 2013, where we had a mouse wheel physical renderer example. So it's not a new topic, but it's interesting that it's so controversial and stirs up so many discussions.
I'm very glad to be here. I'm very happy to meet you per GoToMeeting. And as Alex already told, I'm responsible in the German market for the Applications Unlimited division. And this means all on-premise applications of Oracle, including Siebel. And I took the liberty, and also I was speaking with Alex to have a small conversation with you guys today. And so just a small slide of the Siebel strategy. And we want to reassure you that Siebel is here to stay. We are investing heavily. You can see now only a small slide after that. And we are guaranteeing our customers that we will be supporting Siebel and further developing for at least until 2033. But this is a rolling date, and this is under no circumstances an end date. So I assume in March or April it will be announced that it will be until 2034, and it will be extended. And the Oracle strategy is to develop further Siebel. We are very happy with what we have here. and we are in a very positive situation that we have won in the last Oracle calendar year both net new customers of Siebel, and I could name a couple of them. I could say it is, for instance, AML BFM, one of those customers, and we have also another customer that we have won, and apart from the net new customers, we have also won new projects with extensions with all the existing customers. We have sold more modules, and we have increased the footprint of those customers. So we are very happy about that, and that is also the reason that we keep on investing, and we keep on supporting our customers, trying to ensure that they are happy, and yeah. Thank you, Alex. And also I have seen in the group some names that are known to me. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me and we can discuss later.
Okay, you heard the man. Thanks, Angelos. Yeah, if you have questions, thank you very much, Angelos. If you have questions to Angelos, put them in the chat so we can pick them up. And Angelos, you mentioned 2 net new customers in Germany alone over the past fiscal year.
We had a couple. I cannot say how many. I'm not allowed to.
Yeah.
But we had a couple of net new customers.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is more than 2.
A couple is more than 2. Yeah, that's indeed.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's great news. Because I've a lot of exposure on the internet as a Siebel fanboy and a Siebel spokesperson. That I am very biased, of course, and we all here are biased, and we are here together because we love Siebel. But I get a lot of comments on the Siebel Hub or YouTube where, well, I meet people who say, well, why bother with Siebel? Siebel is dead, and no new sales. Oracle is not selling Siebel. That rumor is still around, and so this really destroys the rumor. The fact that you can report on a couple of net new customers, that's good news. Yeah.
Actually, this is rumors that our competition is creating in order to get a part of our market share. But I can name already many customers that have taken the decision in the past to go away from Siebel to a competition, and afterwards they had seen that the competition was not offering them what they were promising. So they decided to come back to Siebel after a couple of years.
Go.
We can see that. Sorry?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, we can see that now more and more often. We can see also that sometimes not best practices were implemented, or customers were not upgrading to the latest version of Siebel. But now with this, we have created this application unlimited division in 2017. And since then, we can see that there is a change in the norm. So Siebel is by far not dead. I can say that Siebel is on the market since more than 25 years now. We are very happy with what we have. We are very happy that we can offer, according to my opinion, of course, the best on-premise CRM solution on the world. And we look forward to advise our customers. Even if they decide to go away, even if they decide that Siebel is dead, we are here to support them to discard this corpse. But don't worry, we are not there. We have much more future than other solutions.
That's true, yeah. Okay, so yeah, thanks again, Angelos. Great to hear you and your opinion So Nick has put in the chat, what's great about Siebel is the easiest to customize. So not sure if that's sarcastic. You never know. No. Yeah, so, and yeah, so the next topic on the list is, again, I'm harassing you a little bit with the Siebel Hub learning experience, which is growing. So with like Siebel, a lot of new customers are using the Siebel Hub learning experience. Here you have the Siebel Hub training page. I put the link in the chat so you can make sure you have it. And if you look at that training page, recently we had 2 new additions. Someone should mute. Who's not on mute? Okay. Yeah, we have the existing Siebel 22 workshop, 2 Siebel OpenUI classes, and recently added the Siebel integration class. That's a new addition, relatively new. And just a few days ago, we were happy to add the Siebel customer order management classes. Yes, you heard right. That customer order management with RSTT, UMF, ABO, all these nice acronyms. And you learn how to spell them and much more in the customer order management multi-part training class. So that's currently 2 parts are out. Product administration, where it's literally most of the titles, most of the modules are about customizable products. So if you have new hires that need a solid foundation on that, or need a refresher on that technology, then yeah, we got you covered here. Same for COM infrastructure. Now, personally, I have to say this is the course I really wanted to have for a long time when I was learning customer order management, because now we have a module by module class that really lays down all the concepts behind the scenes, the PSP engine, the signals, the variable maps, you name it. So yeah, drop me a line if you're interested in that, or spread the word if you can. That would help a lot to get, especially people who are starting on their Siebel career, to have a solid start if your project's using order management. Okay, so we've been busy here. And so that's it for me. So we've covered 4 topics. General Siebel gossip is, well, what could follow now, if anybody has anything to share, any news, any interesting bits.
Well, I had a ticket out there. I'm on 21.5, and Mr. Carey, as always, gave me an idea of what was coming. In 22.5, it looks like a workflow simulator. You can actually adjust now the window and minimize the multi-flexible area, multi-value area, make it smaller or larger.
Oh, okay. And 22.5.
Well, it might have been between 22.2 and 22.5, somewhere it happened.
Yeah, it's when we upgraded JS Plum, which is what we use to render that interface for both tasks and workflow. I'm not sure when we did that.
Okay, so the multi-value property window is no longer fixed in height. It can be adjusted, or even under.
Yeah, all those panes can be adjusted so that you can make the canvas in the middle bigger.
So
yeah.
that's good news. Another clandestine improvement.
And I think they fixed the arrows too, didn't they, sir?
Oh no, that's still coming. It's because JS Plum doesn't allow us to do that in the version that we have. We have the free version packaged, and you have to pay extra to get to be able to dynamically configure those arrows so they don't go behind steps. So
Okay.
they're trying to find a way around that without having to pay any money. But it looks like we may have to just do it.
Okay. Swipe that credit card.
Yeah.
Swipe left or right?
Okay. So I'm going to definitely have to look into that. I'm just putting it on the screen. So JS Plum was updated somewhere before 22.5. Okay, and workflow editor
And after 21.5.
So editor and simulator, or just the editor?
Just the editor. Simulator.
I didn't look at the simulator, actually. This is the editor, and I'm sure the simulator would be the same because we're using JS Plum for both.
It's not.
It's not?
Or are you talking about simulator? I'm thinking debugger. Never mind.
Well,
no.
The workflow simulator view in WebTools. We're talking WebTools, of course.
Yeah.
All of those types of things should be the same because we're using the same libraries to do it.
Okay. Well, that's a great, well-spotted feature. Yeah. Okay. Tiny little bits that make our lives easier. Okay. Thanks for that, Nick. Anything else?
Did we ever talk about OAuth 2.0 finally getting into work? We talked to the group about that at all?
I think we did, yeah. Last time.
Okay. Alrighty.
Okay, but I think it's time for another OAuth deep dive with Nick next time, maybe. Just kidding.
OAuth, this would be fine.
Just kidding. But Nick, if you everybody in the room, if you have a topic that is close to your heart and you want to present about it, Siebel Friday is an open platform. You can use the whole time to talk about your preferred topics. So yeah, just drop me a note and we will make it happen.
I think it's a 32-page document.
Well, could take some time, but we have all the time we need.
Or I stay longer for you if it's interesting.
Yeah, sure. If it's interesting, and we can find a way. We can record a 3-hour video and put it on YouTube. And
yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, and that's OAuth for inbound REST. That's where the limit. Right, Nick? It's not OAuth for logging into Siebel as a user or whatever.
Yeah, it's just REST.
REST.
I haven't even thought about trying to use it for the other yet. Although I'm sure I'm going to have to shortly because they want Siebel somehow to take care of all this stuff.
Shibboleth, yeah, that thing you're using.
Yeah, I keep getting requests. I keep getting exceptions for it. I'm good till 24, so I'll retire in 24, so I won't worry about it.
If you move it ahead long enough, yeah. Oh, all right, yeah. So, but before you retire, Nick, please share with us those OAuth secrets you have.
Couple years. I got plenty of time.
Well, time flies, yeah.
So I have a question or kind of quiz or kind of, how to say, not to, we lost a workflow in a project.
Okay.
So it's always there in the runtime on the production, but in the repository, there's no workflow for this. So we think that somebody did this workflow in the repo, pushed it on production, and with a later deployment from downstream up, the workflow gets lost. So all we have is the title of the workflow, a running instance, and it does something.
And you have the runtime repository version of it.
No, it's pre-IP17.
Oh, so it's in the SRF. No, not even SRF. It's in the WFA table.
Somewhere, yes.
Yeah.
Any ideas how to re-engineer this workflow, or do we have to say, okay, this workflow has the name like this, and it should do something like that, and we program it again?
Okay.
I think it's, if you query the table, the WFA deploy dev or defin deploy, it'll be in there in that weird format where it's a bunch of asterisks and
it's basically a property set, right?
Yeah, so it should define all of the steps and the connections, and you might be able to reverse engineer it that way. I think I've done something like that before.
This is a cool idea.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's because if it's a property set, you can just try to maybe even, convert it back from the string representation to the real property set. There's a decode from text or whatever function there is for property sets.
Yeah, so unfortunately, you still would have to recreate the workflow yourself, but based on what you find out from that property set.
Yeah, right.
That's okay. That's fair. That's fair enough to say, okay, I read the properties and I read the connections and I read some logic, or that's fair to build it up manually again.
You wouldn't happen to have an old local database lying around someplace that might have it?
No, because local database was only on dev environments, and they did it in the step from test to production.
Okay.
So it's a little bit special in till IP16. You have a repo everywhere, so you can do workflows everywhere.
Yeah. I have one more idea. You at least to understand, for example, a little bit more what the workflow does. You give it a full monitoring, like level 4 monitoring, and it populates the tables with the properties that are used in each step.
Okay.
In addition to the property set that you can extract from the WFA tables.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing there would be if it had a decision step where it goes down one branch versus the other.
Right.
Your steps in that table won't include both steps or both branches.
That's correct. The monitoring would not include that. Yeah.
But it's a good
idea. I think also if you increase logging to 5, it has the first time it loads the workflow, it prints out the details of the construction of the workflow in the logs. It might be a bit difficult to read, but it should give you more information about it.
It'll list all the steps and the workflow properties.
Another great idea, yeah.
Wow.
Did you get some ideas from the trigger file? The trigger SQL?
Oh, I think there's only the name, or?
No, there's usually SQL that tells you what's triggering and what the rows and stuff are. You might be able to see what it's trying to execute.
Okay.
If it's used with policies, you mean?
Yeah, that's a policy we can see. So, but yeah, good point. To put everything together.
Yeah, you have plenty of tracing.
Yeah, the problem with tracing is we only have it in production. So if you say log level to 5.
Well, for the workflow event.
Each workflow, so we have to find the right time window.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Cool. So you're
good ideas.
IP16 or what version are you in?
This is IP16, but we are in the upgrade, so production will die in a couple of weeks.
Oh, so you have the runtime module? So you have the runtime? If you copy that all out, you might be able to get more information if you do a 64-bit decode.
Okay.
I think I've had to look at some of my compiled programs that are there, and I think I used a decode on it and gave me some information. I can't remember what.
And on which file do you want?
The runtime file, the runtime workflow. If you take that whole piece out and make sure you can grab all of it, right? Because some things don't allow you to, because they get really huge, and then find a way to run the 64D code on it.
Wait a minute, wasn't there if you go to the active workflow lists, Christian, it's active, right?
Yes.
You can export it from there, if I'm not mistaken. There's an XML export.
Yeah, and it does something like a zip.txt.
Well, XML,
Okay.
and you could even try importing that in Siebel tools.
This does not work. I think somebody has tried this,
but
I think the idea would be to read this and say,
of course,
okay,
the XML should be the whole workflow definition.
Yes. Yes.
At least. Yeah. So plenty of options, not running out of options here with the Siebel Friday team.
Cool.
Wow. So it's SRF, it's Siebel Rescue Friday. Rescue workflow who's got lost in translation. Okay, it's a nice one, yeah. Please do keep us updated, Christian, please.
Yes, I will do this.
We want to know all that happened to that poor little workflow.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
And another point would be if there is some interest in this group, Angelos and I, we did the presentation yesterday with SSE on Office 365 online.
Oh wow, SSE.
We get it running with a lot of crosstalk with support web and great support from Frankie. Got it running with all these new certificates that you need for Exchange Online.
Right. Yeah.
So we can show SSE on Siebel Friday if there is.
Yeah,
definitely.
Next Friday, it will be a great opportunity actually to show SSE.
Yeah. Okay. So we have
small demo.
SSS. No, how do I spell it?
Not so many S.
SSE on 365.
Yes.
That's
online.
Yeah, I grew up with stars on 45, but SSE on 365 is much better.
There's a song from Chicago, like 24 to.
Christian could also present CRM desktop, but let's start with SSE.
A Tale of the Lost Workflow we have as well. So Christian, you have the next 3 Siebel Fridays. Right?
3, okay. Somewhere in between there is a holiday, but yeah. Okay, I take the next Friday for some session for SSE.
Okay, let's do that, and let's have a session offline maybe and discuss how we get it going. But basically, if you have any material, just tell me when you're ready, and stage is yours on Siebel Fridays. Easy as that.
Cool. Cool.
Okay, very nice. What was the third one, Angelos? You just mentioned a third one.
I just mentioned that Christian did also with another customer a demo of CRM desktop. Yes, but I think maybe if we make a demo of SSE, we don't need to make a demo of CRM desktop, because first of all, CRM desktop is not supported for Office Online, and then CRM, the only difference between two is that CRM desktop can synchronize also the emails, but the add-on is installed at the user, so on the client, and not on the server. So we have more security risks with CRM desktop. That's why I would recommend that we show CCC, and if somebody is interested, then we can make an individual workshop or demo with CRM desktop.
That's a good point.
Do you agree, Christian?
So it had some, that's good. It's had some overlapping functionality,
Yes.
but at some point it's quite different. It's a cool feature, CRM Desktop, to see it again.
Oh yeah,
And, but I think a main drive on SSE with all this mobile and calendar and Teams integration, I think there is a push. There should be a push for SSE to exchange all these calendar entries, and it's really cool.
In hindsight, Siebel Systems should have really bought IBM back then when we had the chance to get Lotus Notes integrated. Just kidding.
Someone still uses Lotus Notes.
I mean, so then we could just get over it and have a proper email client within Siebel.
So this would be a very retro Siebel Friday to show CRM Desktop on Lotus Notes.
Yeah, a retro Friday.
Retro Friday, yes.
CRM.
I'm not aware if anybody is using still Notes, Lotus Notes.
That's another topic for another Siebel Friday.
Yes.
No, actually, this is for a Lotus Notes Friday.
Lotus Notes Thursday. All right.
So I think what we can do is we can tell something about CRM Desktop. And if there is more interest, then we can do it on a private base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
I think this would be the way.
Great, definitely great topics that you bring up here. Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much. All right, so we're planning the next 3 Siebel Fridays already. Good to hear. For this one, this Siebel Friday today, is there anything else on your mind?
64 base decode didn't work.
Okay, that was the update for the workflow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will try the export and the look in the database. I think these are the first two tries, and then we will see.
Yeah. All right. So then let's find a nice background for saying goodbye. Yeah, this one. As usual, you're all aware of this, so preaching to the wrong crowd, but definitely you will find this video and hundreds of other videos on the Siebel Hub YouTube channel, or including the 22.6 update summary, which of course talks about the 22.6, but we also included a little bit of review of what happened in Siebel 22 so far. So just in case you're on your way of planning your next update and you're not on Siebel 22 even, or 22.1, which was the panic log4j panic update. So you get a lot of stuff between 22.1 and 6, and that's all listed in this one video. So it's a halftime video, so to speak. All right. So with that, I'll say, yeah, thanks very much for being a part of this great community, and thanks to Angelos again to join us here and give us a real life update from the sales perspective of Siebel. Much appreciated. So wish everybody a great evening and have a great weekend, and see you next time.
Thank you, Alex. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.